Good morning. It's Thursday, September 5th. Welcome to this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Sade Campbell, and I serve as the Enrollment Communications and Social Media Manager here at Houston Community College. Pleased to be back on. Had a little break, but I'm back for fall. Our fall semester is kicked off, and now that it's September, I hear the internet. I hear the YouTube girlies. They're already smelling the pumpkin spice at Starbucks. So welcome to fall, even though we live in Houston and that's not a real thing for us, but we still try to engage in those things that are warm and cozy. Well, if you are tuning in to Up to the Minute and don't know all the other places you would watch and want to tell a friend, we're live on Houston Community College District Facebook page and on YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. So today for Thursday Family Fun Day, we're going to talk about the museum's recovery from Hurricane Beryl and more. Here to talk about it is Tarina Frank, who serves as the Education Director for the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft. Good morning, Tarina.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. We're going to hear about recovery, but I think there may be some good updates in there as well in just a second. But first, we're catching up with HCC's Law Enforcement Academy and the 911 Dispatch Program. Here to join us today is Rodney Jackson, who serves as a program director for HCC Criminal Justice and Law Enforcement Academy. Welcome to the show, Rodney.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm sorry. You got to say it louder for the people in the back.
Hello, thank you for having
me. So happy to have you this morning. But before we get into HCC's programs, I always want to take a little bit of time to hear about, hey, what's been your journey to not only HCC, but the field of criminal justice?
Well, I started in law enforcement back in 1991, in the full-time policing, and worked at two agencies and moved over to Metro back in 93 as an officer and started teaching here at HCC part-time in 99 and was able to retire from the career of active law enforcement and go in here full-time at the academy in 2014.
Yeah, and I always love to hear the background because I think our students and our community need to know we are getting people from the industry that have walked the path that these students want to walk into. So we want you to tell us about the criminal justice and law enforcement program. People may not realize how broad of the programmatic offerings that we have in that area, starting with our associate's degree, and then we'll go over to some other ones.
Okay, sure. So you're absolutely right to touch on what you said. Just to confirm it, we pride ourselves in making sure that we have subject matter experts that have done more than just learn of the profession, but they've actually practiced in the profession of law enforcement in our academy, as well as our academic side, people pursuing an associate's degree. We have, speaking of that associate's degree, we have a online anytime platform where someone can get started as early as in their high school years and do the dual credit classes to transition into when they graduate from high school to complete their associate's degree with us, which can transfer to four-year institutions, which we have agreements with. With our associate's pathway, there's another element of it that ties into our academy that we'll go back to, is that when they attend the law enforcement academy here at HCC to become a peace officer, they will earn 24 college credits just for attending the academy. And that will be attached to the existing degree plan. So it is certainly feasible for someone to get right into law enforcement and enter a profession in as little as 6 months, and they can theoretically be spooled up prior to getting into our academy and complete the other courses, the prereqs needed for their associates. And when they graduate from the academy, they go right into a career of law enforcement with their associates degree.
And what does that career path look like? How is it different from going through that 6 months, but finishing the associate's degree? What does finishing the associate's degree open up for the cadets?
So if one doesn't necessarily have to want to work the active field of policing out on the street, there's a bunch of other facets, support systems that they can get into as a student pursuing that associate's degree. But as an officer, once they graduate from the academy and gain employment in a department, they can also then test for promotions. And there seems to be a growing interest in forensics and crime scene investigation. I think Hollywood has a lot to do with that, but there's certainly some valid points that people want to pursue that. But that's also facets that we've tied in a degree plan to make sure that they're properly equipped when they leave HCC to know what challenges they're going to face and face them with confidence.
You mean to tell me that my obsession with Law and Order SVU had a little bit to play into?
You know it. You got good company, ma'am. There's plenty of folks that call up and say, I want to be like CSI.
Yes, I'm a crime show junkie myself. Now, and to think about it, right? Like you started in the field in 1991. Forensics was in its infancy.
Amen.
So to see that come, to see how far it's advanced to now and how that helps inform the work in criminal justice is definitely something that's another area of opportunity. But before they get to the police, they get to the dispatcher. And that's one of our programs
Right.
where someone can start as young as 18 years old. Tell people about what's available for that.
Yes, ma'am. So just a little bit on the police academy side before we delve out of that. You got to be at least 21 years of age at the time you complete the academy. So theoretically, someone can enter the academy at 20 and a half years of age. But as soon as they turn 21, they complete the academy and they take the state exam, of which we currently have a 100% pass rate on the state exam, and they can get right in the field of law enforcement. The dispatcher program is another one we offer. They can target someone, as you state, as early as 18 years of age. And it is a 10-week program where we teach you not just the state mandated testing standards of a telecommunicator, but also teach you other facets of emergency communications, because there are more than just police dispatchers or fire and EMS. But in our 10-week program, we actually have also secured some grants to help defer the costs to the student, to the extent to where really all they're going to be out, the grants are good through the end of this year. And theoretically, a person would just have to apply, and the grants would pay for the physical and the psychological and the criminal history check, and the TPEG grant would pay for the tuition. So all we would need of a student is an active passion and desire to get in this 10-week program, get out of the program, complete it, pass the state exam, and they can walk right into a career as a emergency dispatcher.
Mm. And I've always seen so that dispatcher career has a very specific set of soft skills, right? Like you're hearing a lot of trauma and how you have to prepare to deal with that outside of just like the hard skills of how to use the technology and things of that nature.
Yeah, there's no question. They're unsung heroes in the sense that a lot of people think, well, they're just answering a phone. It's way more than that, because you're typically in a dispatch center that has no windows, dark, cool room, because all the computers are there, and you don't have that sensory of being on the scene, but you're still having to deal and process with calming people down, de-escalation, verbal skills, being able to divert your attentions on multiple tasks. But yeah, it's certainly a stressful job, but there's some rewards too, because I know there are some people that are getting into just out of high school and wanting to secure a profession where that they have insurance benefits, a actual professional career pathway that they can pursue. And the opportunity is there. The demand is so high for dispatchers and law enforcement. For example, we just had a police academy class that graduates, and we had 42 in the academy class and 36 had jobs by graduation.
Now, that's the type of data we love to hear. Yes. in higher education, because it's deeply connected to the promise of getting a credential. For those that are wanting to pursue but may think they may not have the money, is financial aid available?
Yes, ma'am. It certainly is, and that's another thing that we explain to them. Like right now, back on the police academy side, we currently have 6 different academy classes going at the same time. And all one would have to do if they're interested in this is go to HCC's website, type in Police Academy on the search engine, shows the available dates. But yes, financial aid is available to those that qualify. And once they get through the academy and get into the professional law enforcement, we can explain to them how there's also a tuition exemption on any tuition for college courses they're wishing to pursue as a full-time peace officer. So we've kind of mentored these people as they go through their academy and they complete their associate's degree through us and progress into the profession with more skills.
And I know there's been so many stories. I'm sure they have gone, many of our graduates have gone on to local police academies. We, of course, have a police department here at Houston Community College. What's a success story that sticks out to you?
Oh, we've got a number. I guess the most recent one that comes to mind is a young man that was actually a son of a staff member here at our college. She approached me back about 3 years ago. He was too young to attend the academy and he wanted to. And I said, look, let's don't get discouraged. Let me get you with our academic advisor. She laid him out on a degree plan where he knocked out his 4 courses and electives. And then he was able to start the academy. And when he graduated the academy, he had completed his associate's degree and was pinned on stage at graduation, was hired by an agency. And this young man it's not just a life change for him, it's a generational change for the family. His mother worked multiple jobs just to make him successful growing up, and she wanted to pursue it. But it was just, we consider our staff to be all a family here, and it was just really encouraging to see, and he's thriving and doing well.
Love to hear it. Well, fall registration is still open for those who are listening and interested or know someone who's interested. We've been speaking to Rodney Jackson, who is the program director for HCC's Criminal Justice and Law Enforcement Academy. Thanks so much for joining us, Rodney.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, we'll have info posted after the show about how to learn more. And up next, after a commercial break, you'll hear from the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft.
When I grow up, I want to work in a lab to build robots.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me and then you just linked arms with me, I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally knew that I had somebody.
All right, welcome back. We are on with Tarina Frank, who's the Education Director for the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft. Welcome to the show, Tarina.
Hi, thank you.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing all about the latest news from the center, but I think what a lot of people who don't realize, right, once things drop off from the news cycle, we forget about how long it actually takes to recover from these storms, because we hear about how often they happen, but we often don't hear how long it takes to recover. So how is recovery going after Hurricane Beryl from the center, excuse me?
We're working on it. So if you came to visit us today, you would see our parking lot is pretty torn up. We're adding in some new drainage there, and where people would typically park is closed, but we are still open to the public. So we're encouraging visitors to park at Lawndale or right in front of our building on Main Street. There's a few spots there. Our exhibitions are currently closed during these repairs, but we do have the resident artist studios are open, the craft garden is open, and our retail store is open. So there are still programs continuing. We're just kind of shifting a bit as these repairs continue.
All right. So so there are some things that open, and I think you all have some events this fall that people will have the opportunity to be able to attend. And there's something coming up soon this week, Hands on Houston, with walking sticks. I'm trying to see how those things are connected.
Hands on Houston is our a very popular long-running program. So it's our free project. It's the first Saturday of every month. So this Saturday on September 7th, you can join us. One of our current resident artists, James Sterling Pitt, will be leading a craft making walking sticks. So I'm sure a lot of Houstonians noticed there were piles and piles of trees on everyone's curb from all of the storm damage. And we ended up collecting some of the nicer sticks that could be turned into beautiful walking sticks. So James Sterling Pitt is actually a craft artist working in wood, and he is going to help us transform those sticks into beautiful walking sticks.
I love the upcycling and turning something negative into something positive. I mean, I guess my journey to having a walking stick is kind of similar. It was something negative, positive. And I remember my mom, she was like, when you go walking, you need to carry a stick. I was like, I am not that old. Okay. And I'm not walking with a walking stick until I had an encounter with some aggressive dogs. And I was like, you know what? Let me see. I went on Amazon, but I really should have looked up you to get a walking stick. So, for you talked about the work that your artists are doing with wood. So you also have something coming up for Hands on Houston around making toy cars, and that's happening in October. What can people expect?
Yeah, so in October, our first Saturday of the month will be with a woodworking guild, the Houston Woodworkers, and they are a nonprofit that very generously are creating more than 200 wooden toy pieces, car pieces, and kiddos and families, adults, anyone can join us that day in attaching wheels to those toys and decorating their wooden toy. And there'll be like a race car track so they can test them out. But again, a really fun partnership with a local organization working in wood.
And I love that, right? Because we're seeing the shift back to low stimulation toys for kids. And so I'm sure a lot of parents who are listening would love to be able to expose their children to that and have that opportunity to disconnect from the screens and still be able to learn through play.
Yeah. And we're going to have a lot of those traditional woodworking tools on site. So even, our adults might have some interest in, how these specific tools work and how they cut out these beautiful shapes and how those, wheels are attached. So it's all, I think it's interesting for all ages.
I love that you put that in there because that is definitely something I probably need a skill around. Me acting like I don't look at screens just as much as younger generations as well. Well, I think what you also have coming up is a fall festival, which also sounds like fun for all. When is that, and what can people expect from the event?
So Fall Festival is also the first Saturday of the month in November. So that'll be November 2nd. But we always mark the Fall Festival with more than one activity. So typically our Hands in Houston is one activity, but Fall Festival is 3 activities. So we're going to be featuring the current resident artist in the residency program by having all of our residents lead an activity that day. So there'll be 3 making activities. And again, this is all free. And there will be also a food truck where you can purchase food. There's going to be artist demonstrations that day. So we're going to try to activate, not just one area of the craft center, but all areas of the craft center. So the garden will be activated. All of these programs are always 11 to 3. And a good thing to note is that you don't have to email or call or anything to reserve to attend. You just show up. And you don't have to show up at 11. It's ongoing. So if you show up at 1 o'clock, we'll get you in there. I will say if you show up on the later end, those of you who show up at 2:30, 2:45, we're probably running out of materials by that point. But we do plan for around 200 to 300 people. So those are our typical numbers.
Love that. And just such a great service to the community to be able to come out as a family and enjoy what the center has to offer. But on the other side of that, you all provide a lot of opportunities for artists to grow in their gifts. What is available to artists in your artist residency program?
Yeah, I actually am a former resident artist as well. So we have a program where you can apply. Usually the application opens in January if you're a crafts artist. So craft meaning you're focusing on mediums like metal, wood, ceramics, fibers, or glass, and or mixed media, combination of the mediums. But if you have a portfolio, you can apply with your portfolio of work, and we have a panel and a committee that will review those applications, and they select a handful of artists, and those artists get anywhere between 3 months to 9 months to have a studio in our building. And once you're a resident artist, you get a monthly stipend, so you do get paid, and you get promoted on our, marketing, and you will be part of an exhibition with us, and you can sell your work through our retail. So a lot of opportunities for artists, and it really helps give them a chance to really focus on their work. And one of the unique things about the Craft Center that I don't know of any other Houston museum that has this, but we actually have open studios where visitors can actually come in and talk to the artist. So visitors can come in, see what they're working on. We like to show kind of the whole process of making a craft object. And so a lot of times, most of us only see artwork finished and complete in a museum and on a pedestal. But here you can see it kind of in the process, in the making stage. And I think that's really, really helpful for especially people who are looking to be artists as well.
Yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity, great lineup of events. Want to thank you for coming to the show today. We've been talking to Tarina Frank, who's the education director for the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft. So many opportunities to get out there and work with your hands and get to these events, family friendly. We'll have info posted after the show. Thanks for joining us, Tarina.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, well, coming up after a quick commercial break, we'll return with news and announcements.
When I grow up, I want to work at a school so I can be a teacher.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
All right, well, welcome back. We're going to wrap out like we always do here on Up to the Minute with news, events, and announcements. First up, we have our Total Army Career Fair. HCC students and others can explore a wide range of careers with the Army, including civilian positions, at an upcoming U.S. Army Career Fair happening from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Friday and Saturday, September 6th and 7th. It'll be happening at NRG Stadium. Check our post after the show for more details or contact HCC's Office of Military Education. Our initiative, We Care, is going on tour. There will be lunch and learn sessions for HCC staff and faculty who are invited to a series of We Care and Mosaic and Me lunch and learn sessions offered throughout September. These are great opportunities to connect, learn, and support the Caring Campus initiative here at HCC. And there'll be a chance to win some really cool giveaways. The first one up is on September 10th next week at our Brays Oak campus, and it'll be happening from noon to 1 p.m. Check the details posted after the show to sign up. All right, we have another career fair in the works, and it's happening this month. HCC will have an automotive career fair that offers the opportunity to connect students with employers who have jobs, co-ops, and internships in transportation technicians, auto body collision repair, and transportation mechanics. It'll be happening Wednesday, September 18th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And details will be posted after the show on how you can join the fair at our Northeast campus. All right. We're going to the moon. Did you know that? Metaphorically, our fall convocation is coming up. Join HCC Chancellor Dr. Margaret Ford Fisher for the fall convocation with the theme "We're Going to the Moon," as she lays out an ambitious agenda to aid growth and student success in the coming year. Registration closes for our staff on September 15th. The convocation will be happening from 9 to 11:30 a.m. on Friday, September 20th at NRG Arena. Be sure to check the post after the show to see the link and sign up. All right, we're looking a little bit ahead. October is right around the corner. We'll have National Night Out hosted by our HCC Police. HCC Police's department is urging faculty, staff, and students in the community to come together for Texas's National Night Out to make communities safer and a more caring place to live and work. It'll be happening with a slew of activities and events on October 1st at our West Houston Institute from 4 to 8 p.m. Check out our post after the show for more details. And as we always like to remind you all, we are in open registration. Fall registration continues, and Second Start is right around the corner, and it offers 12-week courses that are online on the schedule, hybrid, and in person. To learn more about HCC's programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, please visit hccs.edu/apply. All right. Well, coming up tomorrow, HCC's economic instructor, Richard Gosselin, returns to talk about those first days of classes. And for Film Friday, the popular program for the Museum of Fine Arts Houston, will be back to talk about a slate of films. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Cuando sea grande, quiero trabajar en un laboratorio y construir robots.
Desde las clases a la vida laboral, te acompañamos en cada paso. Regístrate a la educación del mundo real en hccs.edu.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah, Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.